About 2 days into making the Queen Alien, my brain made the natural association of Queen Alien and Power Loader, and it planted a little seed in my mind. Maybe I could make a Power Loader to go along with the Queen. It seemed like a pretty crazy idea, but 2 weeks later, I came out with this. It is a full-sized, functional power loader. The whole thing weighs about 50 pounds, about the same as the Queen, and stands at about 9 feet tall. I wanted to make everything on it as accurate to the movie as possible. I took the Sideshow power loader diorama that I have and used that for reference, took hundreds and hundreds of measurements on that thing and scaled it up 8 times so that it would be full size. All of these pieces of the suit are made out of foam boards, which I cut up and hot glued together, just like a lot of other things I make. What I noticed on a lot of other power loader costumes was that the stilts on the feet were only about a foot tall. I wanted mine to be full-sized 2 feet tall. I made them starting with a base stilt made out of wood that I nailed together to make a really strong, sturdy base for the stilts that I would be able to support my full weight on. I also noticed how a lot of other power loader costumes tended to have the cage part made out of just PVC pipe, connect them together so it obviously looked like a couple pieces of PVC pipe stuck together. I wanted to stray away from that, so I used the same size PVC pipe as the connectors and glued them on and attached them in other ways to get a smooth, singular diameter for the entire cage. For the joints on this thing to be articulated, I ended up using a lot of pieces of PVC pipe and some connectors, just a basic T that swivels around there, and that attaches to this PVC rod on the arm. And when you've got the legs, where you've got the ankles and the knees, those were basically a piece of PVC pipe glued across the sides of one part of the joint, and then the other parts of the joint added on the inside so that it would be able to rotate and move. To add some of the specific paint applications, I took some painter's tape to mask off specific areas and then spray paint and then peel the tape off so that I could get the stripes on the legs and the arms and the pincers. There were some very specific parts I had to buy for the costume, like these tubes running up from the torch. They had to be the right red and blue tubes. The little pads on the cage made out of foam pipe insulation. The padding on the back and on the legs just made out of little foamy sheets glued onto black foam board. And I even made a label for the buckle that the harness attaches with. I put the little wires on the hydraulic cylinders on the legs. I put the keypad on the left arm. I put the decals on the pincers and on the back of the legs and the arm there. I even carved out each individual number when there were numbers on the side of a piece. The hydraulic cylinders would be made out of a piece of PVC pipe and then a wooden dowel rod, which would usually be covered in aluminum foil tape. I also wanted my power loader to be fully functional. I made sure that I had my power loader so that the ankles, the knees, the elbows, the shoulders, so that it could all move and give a good free range of movement and be practical. As you can see, the power loader basically splits into 7 different pieces: the torso, the legs, the arms, and the pincers. All of these things attached together basically with the use of PVC joints. As I started testing out, I started coming up with some issues, and those were basically attributed to the fact that the thing was so huge and the weight was kind of displaced at some points that it was really awkward and hard to be able to get into the torso piece in the cage and have the arms on and then be able to step up on the stilts. It was quite an endeavor to be able to figure out how to do that. I had to reinforce a lot of pieces. I did some tests where I was trying to put some parts on the suit and walk around with them and give them a test, and the arm just started falling off. but by the end of it, I was able to have the entire thing put on. It wasn't easy to move around with, but it could move around. I could take steps with it without losing my balance. I could wave the arms around. It was huge, but it was able to move, and I'm glad that I was able to do that. The budget for this entire thing was about $250, and a lot of that came from the amber warning light and the harness that I used that were very specific parts that if I wanted them to be as close as they were in the movie, I had to order special parts for them off of eBay. I also used about 60 pieces of 20-inch by 30-inch foam boards to make all the body and the arms and the legs, and that was about 50% more pieces of foam board than I used to make the Queen. Overall, I'm slightly underwhelmed at how difficult it is to practically move around in, but I am proud of the craftsmanship that I did with it. In closing, I think I am probably the only person ever who can say that they made a full-size practical power loader suit and a full-size alien queen to go along with it. And that's pretty cool, I think. If that doesn't make me a geek, then I don't know what does. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you haven't seen my alien queen, look at that too, and thanks for watching.